It says Safety Fire Department of New York.
A rescue jacket he wore over his torn shirt, a lantern from the rubble.
It doesn't work, but another memory from 9/11.
And a piece of marble from high up on the 44th floor. This saved for a decade.
I put it in my pocket because it was just such a shocking realization.
As well as memories that he relives every single day.
I was put from the rubble and I started looking for other people, and I only found pieces of human beings.
William Rodriguez, a janitor in the Twin Towers for almost 20 years and 9/11 survivor, who saved hundreds of lives on September 11th by unlocking door after door for firefighters and dragging out at least a dozen people with his own bare hands. Known as the last man out before the World Trade Center collapsed, his unlikely story had the media glued to him like bees to honey.
Ordinary people doing extraordinary things like William Rodriguez.
Becoming a voice for the victims, Rodriguez was honored as an American hero, only to be left homeless in the aftermath of the tragedy.
Funny thing, I will give the 800 number on camera, and when I call the 800 number, they deny me the help.
And shunned by the mainstream media soon after.
Censorship. I believe that censorship started from the very beginning, because when I was telling my story, they told me, oh, cut this out, cut this out.
No longer a sweetheart of American broadcasts, William now talks mostly to foreign outlets. The reason? His version of 9/11 differed from the official scenario.
And all of a sudden, we heard an explosion. It was a huge explosion that came from under my feet, meaning that it came from the sublevels between B2 and B3. And then there was a huge explosion at the top of the building. You could hear the difference from the bottom and all the way through the top. The one from the top, which was actually seconds after, was heard very far away. The one at the basement was pretty loud, and you felt your actual feet moving with the floor. The tremor that is sent through the floors, that the walls cracked and the false ceiling totally collapsed. And that's when a person named Felipe David came running into our office saying, explosion, explosion, explosion. And when I saw him, he has all his skin pulled from under his armpits and missing pieces on his face.
It was the first hijacked plane to hit the...
It was the first hijacked plane. No, hello, that was an explosion before 9/11, before the plane hit the tower.
A spokesperson for many of the survivors, William is not the only one discarded by the establishment 10 years on.
When you have more than 950 first responders that have died because of exposure to the ground zero toxic waste that was created, and the government is saying, no, they're not sick, because if they recognize one, they have to recognize all 10,000. What you have here is an effort to control the information that goes out.
A decade after the tragedy, the media and politicians are still not shy to ignore and silence some of the people who risked their lives. In a latest example, first responders are not invited to the memorial ceremony of the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Including William. While first responders see this as disrespect, officials cite space as the reason. There was enough space for them to save the lives of others while risking their own, but apparently not enough for them to commemorate those they couldn't save 10 years on.
We know that they are hiding something, and something big. We don't know exactly what. We want a reinvestigation. We want to reopen the investigation to finally close our doubts that the government knew about it, let it happen, made it happen.